camera. Give it off, down.
You know, I was 3 when Raiders of the Lost Ark came out, so I don't even know if I ever saw it in theaters, but I do remember absolutely wearing out the VHS copy we had of it when I was growing up. It didn't get as much play as Star Wars did, perhaps, but there were still a bunch of squiggly lines on the tape from too much rewinding of all the best parts, which really shouldn't come as any huge surprise. Indiana Jones is, after all, right up there with Luke Skywalker as a kind of hero any over-imaginative boy would wish himself to be. The first film chronicle of his adventures is one of the best exercises in pure entertainment to ever hit the big screen. Featuring a collaboration of 2 of our most popular and populist cinematic creators at the peak of their game, and it's a fitting inclusion into screen's Besties. You can't really start any discussion of Raiders without speaking about Indiana Jones himself. He's a character that really helped to reshape the notion of heroism in modern film. He's a college professor and an archaeologist first,
passage and 3 chambers or cysts,
fist fighter and whipmaster second. Although it certainly seems like he puts himself into enough dangerous situations to satisfy the latter 2 occupations. Come here. One of my favorite moments in the movie comes when he sees the huge German boxer who's about to pound him into dust. The look on his face says all you need to know about what he's thinking. What I like about the character is his fallibility. People think of John McClane in Die Hard as being one of the first action heroes who really got the shit kicked out of him, but Indy seems to almost always be a hair's breadth away from getting killed, only to pull out a victory by virtue of ingenuity, braveness, and an insane amount of luck. Jones is both a lover and a fighter, although he's recognizably human in both arenas. The love scene between himself and Marion on the boat is insanely touching, coming as it does after a series of near-death experiences that the characters share.
Wow. Well, goddammit, Indy, where doesn't it hurt?
Here.
As good as many of the lines that screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan gave to Jones, Harrison Ford's willingness to clown it up with physical comedy is what really makes the character so memorable. And it helps that the comedy is actually funny without being too over the top, which is territory the series kind of veered into in later installments.
Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door. I learned to hate you in the last 10 years.
Another part of the charm of the film is that the filmmakers had to rely on technology that perhaps wasn't that much more advanced than that of the 1950s serials they were emulating, even if they had a much larger budget to work with. So instead of CGI stuntmen and computerized special effects, we're treated to endearingly ridiculous sets full of huge statues that can be pushed over by a single man, and stunts like the infamous Rolling Stone that moves like it weighs 10 pounds. It might look a little funny now in the post-CGI world, but all the special effects in the film still have the benefit of a reality to them, even if it's only a Hollywood facade of reality. Which isn't to say that some of the shit they did wasn't absolutely dangerous. Harrison Ford tore ligaments in his knee when a plane rolled over it, of all things, and famously bruised a bunch of ribs while sliding along the back of a truck. And needless to say, the veneer of realism in the sets and stunts is far preferable to the CGI monkeys that the crew would institute into Crystal Skull 30 years later. That's a lesson that is still worth learning from modern day filmmakers, and some of them, like Christopher Nolan, have certainly taken it to heart. More than anything else though, Raiders of the Lost Ark is a marvel of pacing, with punctuated moments of over-the-top action joined together by mellower scenes between well-drawn characters that you actually care about.
Oh, well, no, you don't have to keep it here just because of me.
It's a recipe that seems like it should be pretty simple, so it's amazing to think how rarely anyone comes anywhere close to matching it. Spielberg came pretty close with The Last Crusade 8 years after this movie came out, but Raiders of the Lost Ark perhaps set the bar too high for even that fine film to match. It is in every way an archetype of the action-adventure genre, with some of the best dialogue, best action, and most enduring characters you'll come across in a movie.
Hello?
Jones!
I mean, it's got one of the most amazing fistfights ever. Melting Nazi faces. A happy accident of filmmaking in the classic sword fighting scene. A 300-mile ride on top of a submarine. A Nazi monkey. And of course, it's all overseen by
top men.
Nostalgia has been called a wasteful emotion in that it theoretically does nothing for anyone except enforce an idea that the past can never be improved upon. If Raiders of the Lost Ark does anything, it should disprove that notion right off. The nostalgia that Lucas and Spielberg felt towards those old adventure serials resulted in one of the most entertaining films of the 1980s, if not ever. But you obviously don't need me to tell you that this movie is great, since you've probably seen it a dozen times yourself. All I can do to honor it is to call it a screened bestie, and that is what I'm doing right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon here on Screened.com.